Hello and welcome again to Piedmont Business Live. I'm your host, Ken Morris, and today we're talking to Carl Fisher. He is the president of PHCA LifeCare. Carl, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me, can you give us a mission statement that best describes PHCA?
I guess the best way to put it is we assist people in finding diseases that are still in a treatable stage. We help people take the first line of defense for their own health care.
And so tell me about your professional background. How did you get involved in such a thing?
We began these programs in the 80s, believe it or not, when Ronald Reagan had a polyp that was broadcast all over the country. And people became aware of colorectal cancer and the fact that it was treatable. And at that time we were working with the American Cancer Society. They decided to go into education and not into screening. So we found that pharmacy chains could do this program in order to get people to visit their store and become acquainted with their people. And we linked the pharmacy chain with a medical center to do the scoring and reporting, and then a television station to get the word out, raise the noise level. So we put all those partners together into a campaign in the 80s with SmithKline. When I left in the late 80s, I took it with me. And we've been doing these since 1991.
So talk a little bit more about the screenings. What type of screenings do you guys do?
We do screenings for colorectal cancer, for breast cancer, and for eye diseases and disorders. And the key is to find the disease in a stage when it's treatable. Every fatal disease goes through a treatable stage. And if you find it early, you can beat it.
Excellent.
So with colorectal cancer, for example, we use a product called Easy Detect. Unlike the old tests where you had to play around with a stool sample, this product allows you to just drop a pad in the toilet after a bowel movement, look for a color change, flush it away, record your result, send it to the hospital, get your result back, and you're either okay or you go to the hospital for a follow-up colonoscopy.
And that sounds so simple, and I'm sure it is, and I would imagine that because it is so simple, that a lot more people are doing just that and hopefully catching colorectal cancer much quicker.
Absolutely, Ken. The threshold for getting a colonoscopy is age 50. But what about the people aged 25 to 50? And in that age group, we're finding more and more early colorectal cancer. So this is the only type of test that's available that's medically approved.
How about that? So how long has PHC LifeCare been in business exactly?
Been in business since 1991. And as I mentioned earlier, after I left SmithKline, we decided to go on our own. There was a market out there. SmithKline sort of pulled back because they couldn't devote a specialty sales force like we had to that one product. They gave it to their reps, and of course it didn't find its way to the top in many sales presentations. But it was just perfect for us. It was a niche market, and we've been doing programs since 1991. We've screened about 5 million people.
Wow.
In 200 programs across the country. And if you look at that number, 5% of those, well, let me back up. Of the 200,000, there's about an 80% compliance rate. 20% of the people just throw the test away, but 80% will follow through. Of that 80%, 5% have blood in their stool, which is never normal to be there. And of that number, 10% have polyps or cancer. So we focus down to about 200 people out of that 5,000 who have a chance to beat it early.
Wow. And there's no telling how many people you guys have saved by doing this, because you just don't know how many would never have caught it, or might have caught it through other means. But I can imagine it's a high number that you guys have saved.
Well, what happens is we find a lot of success stories. People in the campaign who had it, beat it, and want to talk about it. And so the station pushes those into the next ratings period, and people give their testimonial. And believe it or not, in most cases, they give God the glory for the test. And a typical response is, I owe my life to the Lord. He saved my life with this test. It's really heartwarming to listen to those testimonials.
I was going to say, it's got to be very satisfying to you knowing the impact.
Absolutely.
So, you guys save a lot of lives doing this. How can people get these tests?
We're looking to do colorectal mass major screening programs like I described in the Greensboro viewing audience, the Raleigh viewing audience, and so forth. But we're also doing employee screening programs, finding those employers who want to help their employees decrease absenteeism, if you look at it from a selfish standpoint, attract new employees, and we'll come in and do a campaign within their corporation and use a medical center and a station to highlight it. It usually runs for a week or two. The major mass program goes for about 30 days. Takes that amount of time to reach all the available audience.
So what is the difference between your program and an employee screening program?
It's the same. In other words, we do employee screening programs and we do major mass screening programs.
Okay, gotcha. And where can people go to find out more about where they can have screenings done and times, places, that sort of thing?
We have a website, PHCA LifeCare.com, and if we do a major mass screening program, we'll try to highlight some of those employee screening programs as well while we're doing the mass program.
Okay. Well, we will put the website at the end of this page and at the end of this video. And if you want to find out more about how you can get a screening or where these screenings are going to be held, and you want to find out more about the organization, feel free to go to that website and check them out and also give them a call. They'd be glad to help you out. Carl, thanks very much for being with us and sharing your story, and thank you too for helping to save so many lives. And I hope that a lot of people learn from this and will take the time to get themselves checked.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you for tuning in to Piedmont Business Live. We'll see you again next time.